It's time for the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is the voice of the working class, Rick Smith.
And welcome, brothers, sisters, working class heroes. This is the Rick Smith Show. Thanks so much for being here. Today on the big program, lots to get to, lots to talk about. Going to start off with a sad reality. Sad reality. This country is not a serious country. The citizens of this country, about an inch deep, I'm afraid. So shallow you wouldn't get your ankles wet in a puddle. I mean, we're in this weird kind of moment. Today I wake up to, and this is why I go here. I wake up to the foreign health minister for Trinidad and Tobago saying that they've done studies that the vaccine does not cause your testicles to swell. And I'm going, where's this coming from? And very quickly I find out. Evidently, Nicki Minaj, who I did not know, I don't know much about her. The kids, I guess my kids do. At first I thought Nicki Minaj's testicles are swollen. And I'm going, but that doesn't make a lot of sense because I'm just piecing this kind of together. And thanks to Tucker Carlson explained to me, thankfully, that it wasn't Nicki Minaj's testicles. It was possibly the cousin's testicles who's still in Tobago or Trinidad. And then I find out, no, that's all wrong too. It's the cousin's friend's testicles that are swollen, that she believes somehow caused by the vaccine. And, I'm reading through those, and it was trending all day on Twitter. I stand with Nicki Minaj. And I go, the only person who should be standing with Nicki Minaj is the cousin's friend with the swollen testicles, because it's painful to sit. So I'm going through this, and I'm really kind of going, we are so screwed as a society. When someone who, I tried listening to some of the music, not my cup of tea, not at all. But people tell me she's good at it. Maybe she should stick to that because Dr. Minaj, she is not. But Dr. Minaj tweeted out, my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called off the wedding. So just pray on it. I am not quite sure what she's praying on. And make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied. I'm sorry. When did we start taking medical advice from someone I don't even really know? And then this isn't even like one of those it's kind of one of the... This is one of those things you hear Republicans throwing out. I know somebody who knows somebody who's related to somebody who they've got swollen testicles. So here's the thinking going on between whatever's in between her ears. Guy had swollen testicles, got the vaccine a week ago. Swollen testicles equals vaccine. Oh my gosh, don't do it. And I'm going, could it be, just kind of throwing this out here, maybe the guy had a bachelor party, they had some friends over, got himself, some kind of sexually transmitted infection that caused said testicles to swell. That is a much more sane, rational, thoughtful explanation than, oh my gosh, he got the vaccine and giant balls. I mean, I'm struggling here, and I'm struggling for us to be a serious society. Because here's the thing. Nobody should know about this friend's balls anyway. Nobody. This should not be news. This should not be news. And I know this. It sounds, when you lay it out, it's kind of weird that we're talking about somebody's stones in a country that most people can't even find on a freaking map. And yet somebody, I know lug nuts out there going, Dr. Minaj said never get the shot because the boys are swollen. You know this is coming, man. And yet here we are, not a serious, thoughtful society on any level. When you're taking medical advice from a pop singer, what in the flying, flippin' you-know-what are you possibly on? And all of the news media that all they want is the clickbait. Dr. Minaj, swollen balls. What kind of balls? Are we talking basketballs? Beach balls? What are we talking here? And now I got to see a picture. Because I knew a guy years ago had a blocked duct, a very real medical condition. He literally had what looked like a grapefruit. I mean, it was giant. And he was in the bar showing everybody, which today would be sexual harassment. And I do not believe the friend of the cousin who has the giant swollen ball should be showing that to anyone because, well, Dr. Minaj would probably be beating up on him then. I mean, man, we used to be a serious country. We used to have serious journalists. Now we've got Tucker Carlson. And thank you, Tucker. Again, I appreciate the long explanation about the friend's ball. If it weren't for Fox News, I would have never gotten Dr. Minaj's giant friend's ball at all straight. It was because of the guy with the bow tie that I now know that the ball is swollen. And here's the thing. We get the media we deserve. This is what we want. We want National Enquirer TV. We want salacious nonsense. We want clickbait. We want to know about the guy in Trinidad with the giant ball. We need to know. Inquiring minds need to know. Because you know what? Lugnut, doing his research with the ivermectin. He might have a cure for it. Instead of going to the medical professionals who they spend their lives doing this stuff, we're going to a pop singer. And there are people protesting, standing with Dr. Minaj. My head about to explode. Maybe, and then what my wife could say when my head explodes, he got the vaccine, caused the head to explode. And some moron in the news media would go, radio host dies from swollen head due to vaccine. And people would click on it. Because that's how not serious we are. And again, I go, we could be a great society. We could be the exceptional society that we keep telling ourselves that we are. Except for every appearance from the outside says, no, we're basically just children. We're 2-year-olds kicking and screaming in the cereal aisle. And don't understand or don't know how to filter out nonsense. Like Nikki and the giant ball. There's something seriously wrong. There is something seriously wrong with what is satire being taken as real news. We used to have The Onion. Remember The Onion? We used to love The Onion because it was mocking things. Now The Onion seems like serious journalism. The Onion would have never picked up Nikki and the giant ball story. Would have never happened. Never in a million years would that have happened. Never. Because it's even too crazy for them. But yet, one of the stories that was banging around is one written by a site that says they are a satire site. Self-described source for real fake local commentary and news and opinion. And yet people were sending it around. Look what Joe Biden's doing. Joe Biden's taking benefits from veterans because they won't get vaccinated. And I'm assuming you're going to put the giant ball story in there somehow to get more clicks because Dr. Minaj says don't, so Dr. Minaj should pay. It's crazy where we are. When The Onion and the Borowitz Report are no longer funny? Because when you put them up against what passes for journalism today, they don't look crazy? When Fox News, supposedly the authority, the fair and balanced, when I got to go to them to find out about the giant ball? I'm struggling here. Especially because, and really seriously, there is real news out there to be had. There are important stories that need to be told. For instance, in 1 week in September, from the 2nd to the 9th, almost 500,000 children have been diagnosed with COVID. 500,000. Because, hey, we went back to school. But you know that got almost no coverage? Because all the oxygen was taken out by the giant bouncing ball. And this is my problem with the kind of ridiculous nonsense that we get. How is it possible that our news media gave a flippin' blank about Nicki Minaj? And why is that news? Why is it that we see this kind of both sidesism that has gripped our news media? When Cooter in Florida is mad about the vaccine, and now he's citing research by Nicki Minaj, who said she didn't do any research to prove why he's got, a metal spoon stuck to his testicles. And it turns out they're bluer than they were before, and he's saying that's because of the vaccine. When the reality is, Cooter hasn't showered in a month, and anything will stick to his testicles. And the reason they're blue is because Peggy Sue wants nothing to do with him because he hasn't washed in a month. Not rocket science, Cooter. But going to cite the other one as the reality. And yet, we're no closer to solving our problems. And maybe we need the distraction. Maybe we need some gallows humor. We're all gonna die anyway, so it's gonna be something that might as well be of giant swollen testicles. I mean, when can we become a serious society that I kind of remember? I think of that Jeff Daniels bit that he did on that HBO show. I think it was called The Network, where someone asked him, is America the greatest country in the world? And why do you think America is the greatest country in the world? And you had the conservative and the liberal say stupid stuff. And Jeff Daniels just went off on both of them. Saying, we're not the freest country in the world. We're not the best country in the world. We've got idiot people who believe in nonsensical, ridiculous things. But we should be. We once were. We aspired to intelligence. We inspired to be better. We believed people of intelligence. We didn't belittle it. We didn't ridicule smart people. We didn't want to demonize them. We wanted to take the information that they had and learn from it instead of figuring out ways to attack it. It's amazing to me, and I talk to conservatives all the time who now cereal box epidemiologists who are going to tell me why Dr. Fauci's wrong, and they come up with 1,000 conspiracy theories. All built out of, I believe. And somehow, doing their Nicki Minaj kind of research, none at all. They've come up with a theory, a conspiracy. And what does that mean for the rest of us? It means we all suffer. It means we get worse. As a society, it becomes ridiculous. If you've ever seen the movie Idiocracy, it's where we are moving. And I would even argue, too late, we have found our home. When the story trending all day is about some guy's stones in Trinidad, and that's getting the White House involved, when the White House is reaching out to her and saying, hey, we'll get you some doctors because this person has the kind of platform and the kind of oversized voice with a segment of our population that's not protecting themselves. When the White House is sending representatives to go, hey, we'll help you do some research since you're too lazy to do it yourself, and not doing it, we got problems. But the biggest problem of all is the fact that anyone would look to Dr. Minaj for any advice whatsoever. any at all. And here's the thing. While that sucked up all the air in the room, President Biden gave a 23-minute speech today about how he hopes to raise taxes and hopes to make the wealthy pay their fair share and give the working people of this country a fair shot. And you know what our news media was doing? They were mocking the man because he had a cough. The substance be damned. This is what they do. These are the distractions. Demand better media. Demand people who tell better stories. Not stuff that's going to tear us apart. You remember when the soldiers came back from Afghanistan in Delaware? When the bodies of our heroes came back? All our news media could focus on is for a brief second Joe Biden looked at his watch. Not while they were taking the bodies off the plane, but while he was just there. That's what they focused on. They focus on what tears us apart, what distracts us, what puts us into different camps so we can be pitted against one another and forced to fight each other in some kind of weird Hunger Game mentality. Remember just a couple bit ago when the people were getting out of Afghanistan? It was all about the dogs. Remember the dogs? Oh, the poor dogs. Anybody talking about the dogs now? No, because our news media is all about division. It's all about getting as much people as riled up and as bunched up in the panties and as lathered up as possible. So they'll click and they'll click and they'll click and they'll click because that means money for them. The stories don't matter. The truth doesn't matter. Facts don't matter. What matters is feeding your confirmation bias. What matters is the most salacious story possible. So when the golden calf comes or the golden ball comes along, they can't resist. They can't resist because for them, it's the golden nugget, man. And in a couple of weeks, months, maybe we'll really find out that the reality was he went to a bachelor party and caught something, which would seem to be the more rational of thoughts other than, oh my gosh, he got the vaccine. And then, oh my gosh, it was giant. It's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in. But ask yourself, for your part in it, why are we listening to Nicki Minaj? How is it possible anybody gives a flying flip about what she thinks? Sing the songs, do your gig. You're not a doctor. Love to hear your thoughts. You can email me, rick@thericksmithshow.com. Gonna take a quick break. Right back. Stick around. You're listening to The Rick Smith Show.
More American than workers standing up. The union gives a voice to win. On the Rick Smith Show.